Okay, so generally you will always start with the back, right? If you're doing a 1 hour massage. Generally, people want 1 hour on their back, so you can do a 45-minute session on their back, turn them over, and then do an upper head release, which is neck and shoulders. We do this on Wednesday, okay? Or, generally, in 1 hour, people want half an hour on the back, and then half an hour on the legs, okay? So that's generally 90% of what you do.
Would that be classed as a full body?
Yeah. Very rarely will you actually ever be asked to do the whole body in 1 hour. It's practically impossible to do the backs of the legs, the fronts of the legs, the feet, and then your upper head release. It's really difficult, okay? But in general, the back and the backs of the legs, the back especially is it, okay? The back and the backs of the legs is the next popular one. The backs of the legs, the fronts of the legs is the next popular one too. But you need to know how to do it all, because when you start to get your regular clients, like I have clients that come to me every week, this is, they don't drink, they don't smoke, they love massage, whatever, and you need to know how to mix it up, you need to know how to combine it. So some weeks they will come in and I'll do a bit of reflexology on them, and I'll maybe do the fronts of the legs and then do an upper head release. The next week they come in, I'll do a really nice back session. The week after that they'll come in, I'll do back and backs of legs. Do you know what I mean? You need to be creative and keep it interesting for them. Also, if you work on the back every week, eventually the back goes into a beautiful state of looseness. If they're coming back next week, there's no point in continuing to work on the back. You need to go and find the tension somewhere else. So, let's say you've worked on the back, okay? Remember, we have section 1, section 2, section 3, and section 4. How you decide where you're going is, for instance, if this section was tighter than this section, you want to work on this leg, right? All of the muscle tissue here connects into here, generally with what's called, I told you this yesterday, it's called the fascia tissue. It's like a blanket that sits underneath all of the different muscle groups and connects it. So when you do your dry work, if this hip is tighter than this hip, you go to this leg first. Okay. So we want to, again, I want to create a little bit more height there for her to have the legs elevated. Better. Yeah, that looks a bit better now. So for the blood flow, you generally want to have the legs elevated, right? That can be okay, even up a little bit more would be absolutely fine. And we always start with our dry work. So our dry work, our assessment is a little bit different from what we do with the back, okay? So we want to come in and we want to assess the calf muscle and also the hamstring. Now, you want to come here to the end of the Achilles tendon, and you want to squeeze in between the ankles. So we're squeezing the Achilles tendon, right? Again, this is a huge acupressure point. So hold this for about 20-30 seconds. Nice deep breaths, Alex, just encouraging the breath. Good. Okay. And that actually helps to unlock all of that muscle tissue there. It can be a really nice feeling. So you'll feel that today when you work on each other. Then you want to come back in over the towel. This is a single-handed picking up, we know this. And you just want to squeeze, okay? So the Achilles tendon connects here into what's called the soleus muscle group. So you're basically squeezing the muscle tissue. Again, how tight does this feel? Where is the tension? What's going on? Watch the breath, okay? And then you're coming further up into the calf muscle. And again, how tight is it? Where is it tight? Typically, I'm feeling she's tighter here. In general, people are tighter mid to lateral section. If you can feel it's tight and you want to squeeze it a little bit more, combine it with a bit of rocking, okay? You want to rock that open. and that allows the muscle tissue just to release a little bit more, okay? Then we want to come down to what I call the belly of the calf muscle, which is the big fat part here, the wide part of the calf muscle. Thanks, Haley, okay? If you're working with people and she's got really good developed muscle groups because she's a professional athlete, we can use both hands and we can then do a double-handed picking up, again squeezing. She likes that. Look at the breath. The breath will tell you on the client what is going on, okay? And again, we want to combine that with a nice bit of rocking. Take your time with this. This can feel so good in the beginning. And again, other holistic therapists, they don't do this myofascial release. It sends a signal to the client again of being very impressed with, oh, she really knows what she's doing, okay? Also here, there's two strips. So we have we have the Achilles tendon that comes into the soleus, and then we have two branches here, which is called the gastrocnemius, right? So there's one here and one here. The inside muscle tissue of the legs is always softer than the outside. So we're always more gentle when we work on the inside. Mid to lateral section, we can use more power. So what we want to do now is a double hand. I need to, move this way to show you the correct stance. So you're in a lunging stance. You want to put one hand on top of the other. Deep breath for me, please, Alex. On the out breath, you want to keep your arms straight and lunge into it. So you're pressing now into the muscle tissue. Again, you want to hold for around about 20-30 seconds and just allow her just to breathe into that. So again, you're assessing how tight is this? Is it releasing? Is it brick hard? Okay, where is the tension? And typically, again, it feels middle to the lateral section is where it's tight, okay? Taking your hand off, now we have two ways to assess the hamstrings here. The hamstrings, we have three different muscle groups here, okay? In the middle, we've got what's called the semitendinosus, okay? We've also, as well, in the internal section here, got what's called the semimembranosus, right? So that's strip 1, strip 2. Here in the outer section, we've got what's called the biceps femoris. So you have three big strips of muscle tissue, which all make up the hamstring, okay? All you need to know is they run like this, okay? You don't need to know any more. And they attach here into the knee and they attach here into the glutes, right? Again, typically, people, boxers, professional athletes, the middle strip will be tight. The outer strip will be tight too, okay? So again, you want to do double hands, lunge into it, and just hold it. Again, deep breath. She likes that. Look at the deep breath. And you hold for 20 seconds. And you have to tune in, how is this releasing? How is it? Okay? And as it's releasing, I know the IT band here in the outside section is very, very tight because the midsection is loosening as I do this. If you want to find out more about the muscle tissue, we can then come in with a deeper movement, okay? So we want to have one hand here in the midsection, in the middle part of the hamstring, and the other hand facing to the internal part. And we're in a lunging stance. I have got straight arms, and you're pushing right into the middle section of the hamstring, okay? Watching the breath. As she breathes, I'm then going to move my hands in opposite direction to squeeze the muscle tissue horizontally out and relaxing and coming down, okay? So it's like this, okay? So you're opening up all that midsection. Okay, so for the assessment here of where she is tight, it's here, right up the midsection, and also here in the lateral section as well. So I want to focus my leg work here on here, and also here and here. Now we can treat the leg as a whole, again, just like how we do with the back. So we start with our 6 to 8 effleurage. We can also use our alternate effleurage as well. And then we want to go into our pêche-dressage movements to get a little bit deeper to combine it. Once it's loosened off, then I'm going to come in with my thumb frictions and get more focused on really getting a deeper movement of where to release here, 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 and here. So this smaller area, I'm more inclined to use double thumbs, vibrations. This big area here, I'm more inclined to use alternate fist. Double thumbs here is clumsy, it's bad body mechanics. This is a big area, so you want to use bigger movements, okay? Also for this bigger area here too, instead of using your hands, you can also do a lot more forearm work as well. Okay, she's got quite good calves. For perhaps you, there's no way I would use my forearms with somebody who is smaller, okay? But certainly for a calf like this, you can come in and you can use a nice bit of work here. You can also use your forearm as well to effleurage, okay? Taking the pressure off as you move over the joints. All right, okay, so I'll just show you. So we're here, double hands, and back. 6 to 8 times. Now, I want to focus on the outside area, so I'm using alternate effleurage. I'm now swapping and I'm using internal effleurage of the inside. Now, with the inside hand, it does not come all the way up here into the private area of the client, right? It comes here, midsection, and it comes back. So your outer hand, which is mid to lateral line, it's allowed. It comes all the way up and back. But the midsection always finishes midline, okay? So we don't ever, again, get too involved at this point in coming up into the buttock area of the client, okay? So we heat up with double hands, and also you can combine it with your alternate effleurage. For muscles that are really tight, this is a really good way to heat up, especially with her, because she's got good muscle groups. So you can actually put your back into it a little bit more. You'll feel the muscle as it starts to loosen. When the muscles are really tight like that as well, they respond better by picking up the pace rather than going in straight away with your frictions. Because the muscle tissue is so tight, it's harder. The whole thing is harder. So it's what's called hypertonic. So when you've got the big muscle groups and all of it is pretty hard, they're in a hypertonic state. To get them into a loose state, basically, you see the speed that I'm working at? I'm going kind of medium speed. Fast is this, okay? So if, for instance, Alex was going to be playing ice hockey in 10 minutes, right? And she's in to see me to get her legs done. I want to pick up the pace to get as much heat going into the muscle tissue as possible, right? At this point, she came in, say, in another instance for a treatment, and she's done her ice hockey, and she wants to feel better. You can work light to medium. So we have different speeds we work at, which give a different result with the muscle tissue as well. Okay? So I'm combining the sequence. I'm using a combination of effleurage. Don't look so worried.
I always have this face.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah.
So all I'm doing, it's so simple, is using a combination of effleurage and kneading. I'm now going to transition here. See the way I just moved from the calf muscle to the hamstrings. I'm also in a more of a lunging stance. Here, look at my stance, it's warrior stance, okay? Because I'm moving like this. See, to get more of my back into it, I'm not really in a warrior stance, I'm more turned, and I'm working more with a lunging stance because it's easier to move the muscle tissue like that. It's much bigger as well. Okay. This feels very nice for the client to receive. 45 seconds on your hamstrings and roughly 45 seconds on your calf muscle too. So you can really heat this up and then you can combine the full thing, okay? So watch how we combine this. And focus back again. How does that feel, Alex? Yeah. So this can feel very, very good. So it's lots of repetition with her anyway, okay? Now let's come back down. You can choose if you want to then focus on the hamstrings or on the calves. If the person had an awful lot of hip problems and you were doing a lot of loose fist here, you've done a good bit of work, it's normal that the energy then tries to leave via the hamstring. I would then be focused on the hamstring rather than focusing here on the calf muscle. If there had been not really any issues and she said to you, my calf muscles are killing me, come straight to the calf muscles. Okay. So we'll start with the calf muscles. So basically what would we go into now, Hannah? We've done the pestrissage. So we want to take it a little bit deeper so we would come into the thumbs, thumb frictions, right? So remember we have the medial line and we have the lateral line. So she's really tight here, okay? So you want to do double thumbs here at the Achilles tendon. Right, so you're just holding it and then you're coming up into the midsection. And then we're just doing double thumbs. It's thumb circles. As it loosens, you'll feel the diameter of the muscle tissue loosen. So again, you have to use your own intuition and track it. Listen to that music, it's bloody awful, isn't it?
I love it.
God.
I kind of like it too.
Okay, so we always start here.
Is that ever painful for people?
Yeah. So again, if the client jumps, you're using too much pressure, take it back. As it softens, you can move and strip at the same time. This gives a deeper experience for the calf muscle. As it softens as well, you'll see I move more towards the soleus and the Achilles tendon. So you want to start with the bigger part of the muscle. As it loosens, move further in. And it's thumb circles and then thumb stripping with a little bit of rocking. Again, this is really good style to work in this way. The client knows again that it's not just this, dun, 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 okay? So it's the circles, loosening. As it loosens, get a bit deeper. You want to deepen it again, then you use the rocking to push further into the muscle tissue. Now, you can use all of that, give it some love, pull it back. And now I'm starting closer to the Achilles tendon and stripping up. So that's feeling a lot looser now. And I'm stripping from the midsection through to the lateral section. Okay. You may feel here lumps. It can be the full part of the muscle that's holding. Quite often it can be. Also you can find here, and again it's with experience, tears in the muscle tissue. I think you were working on somebody yesterday and I explained to you the muscles moving, it's not a problem, okay? This is a common area to find tears in people. I've got loads of tears in mine too. If it's a tear where you actually see the muscle moving like this, pull back. Don't keep trying to fix it because it's torn, okay?
Can you tear it more by?
They'll jump. They'll
Okay,
basically
so you
jump.
wouldn't-
Yeah, you won't be able to do anything with it. Okay, that's it. Now, so that's the mid to the lateral section. Here, this gastrocnemius strip that's here, how we release that, because it's soft, all this internal part's soft, double thumbs, it can feel too much to receive. The best way to loosen here is actually just to give it a bit of ring, the pestissage, the kneading, okay? You can ring, and that can feel very nice for them to receive as well. Again, I don't really use ringing, I don't like it.
Would that be more difficult with a bigger calf, of course, yeah?
It's actually, I use more ringing on the bigger people because there's more of them. So it's easier. Somebody that's really small, it's more difficult for me to ring. But that can feel very, very soothing. But to focus on this one, you just use your double-handed picking up. Okay? You want to call it that. And again, bring it back, give it some love. Okay, see now how I'm automatically going into a reinforced effleurage. Why am I doing this now, Ailey? Why am I using reinforced effleurage?
To get deeper into the muscle.
That's it. So see in the beginning when it was all hard, it was all blocked, you wouldn't push further into it, okay? You've got to get a bit of movement in with your alternate effleurage, your double-handed, heat it up, get a bit of warmth going in. As it loosens, encourage it more with your pestissage. As that loosens even more, get in with your double thumbs, your thumb stripping, smooth it down, and then come in with, I call this as well, the steamroller. You know how we get the steamrollers on the roads? They make it all nice and smooth. It's a bit like a steamroller.
And that's like what we were doing on the shoulders yesterday, wasn't it, when you're coming in double-handed?
Yeah, it's similar to that. With the shoulders, it's more of a friction movement. Okay, so it's more with the tips of the fingers, the frictions. With this, it's the pads of the hands, all right? Okay, so we can just effleurage this nicely. Again, if you want to move it, you can give her a bit of rocking. Use that breath, Alex. Nice deep breath. Okay, and so watch this one with the breath. Look how slow I'm going now. Keep that breathing going. Deep breath. Breathe into it. Again, I'm picking up the information. How's it loosening? How is she tight? Okay, transition now and come up. Okay, so all I did was skip over the knee, and I'm now focusing on the hamstring. Okay, I could have transitioned like this also as well. No pressure here, and come back into more pestissage. Okay, so you need to choose again. What technique do I need? Where am I going? Okay. So let's say we're coming back, right? So again, we have the semitendinosus, the biceps femoris, where I know it's holding, semimembranosus, not so much. Soft tissue, be careful. So if you want to strip this, loose fists, I'm a great fan of loose fist. Also, if you want the client to get more access to that, you can move them. So she was here, right? Don't be afraid to move your client further out so you can get access to her, okay? I'm quite, I like to move my clients to suit me, okay? So don't be afraid to disturb them. You're in charge, okay? So if you want to strip the midsection, this is a great one. Alternate fist. Keep loosening, but really for her, it's here, biceps femoris, and it's also here on the IT band. So I can move to midsection to here, lateral section, because I want to focus on this strip. I know this is where she's holding. All right, breathe for me, please, Alex. Again, I need to get her to breathe to get it to loosen down. Okay, see the way I'm focusing here, and I'm not stripping the full thing. It's because she's holding here, right? If I want to move the full thing, I strip the full biceps femoris. But it's here, so I'm taking it down, and I'm focusing the loose fist just on this section here, because there's no trigger points, but again, this part of the muscle tissue is contracted, it's hypertonic. Okay, so it's here. And the breathing too. That's it. So just taking your time, straight arms, lunging stance, and just taking your time is slow. Be careful with it. As it loosens, it's going now. I want to strip the full thing. Coming back now into the midsection, that feels good. Okay, and now I'm going to give it a bit of love. So what I'm doing is using a bit of an effleurage movement here. I'm not pressurizing down. All I'm doing is keeping contact, but the pressure is always towards the heart. We're always moving towards the heart. If I want to get more focused now, we saw this yesterday, you like to use this one, yeah? This is an effleurage movement. Remember we did this on the hips, where you're moving, you do this as well on the hamstrings. Okay, again, if you want, you can get more speed into it, if you really want to speed it up. If we want a steamroller, okay, you want to slow it down. Again, you can use a little bit of stimulation just to move it. Good. And give it some love. Come back in now with some stroking. So stroking again, look at my hips. All that's happening is my arms are following what it is that my hips are pushing into it. So I know at the end of today, when I've done 5 clients, my neck and shoulders are not going to be killing me because it's all coming from the legs and the hips. Good. Finish. Give it some love. 6 to 8 times minimum. Okay. Also, sorry, I forgot to tell you, if we want to release the knee, we can do alternate effleurage here around the kneecap. This can feel very good for somebody who is running, skipping, boxing, anything to do with impact, tennis players, people that are constantly using legs. So we can do this. Also, it can transition into loosening the knee to, again, coming up into the midsection of the hamstring. And again, look at the movement coming from my legs. It's all coming from the legs and the hips. If you want a deeper movement, you slow it down. And it's a double-handed effleurage movement. So, keeping in mind, soft muscle tissue, it's more stroking, more effleurage that goes there. I wouldn't loose fist and I wouldn't get involved with my thumbs here. You just have to slow it down, repeat, or use your hands. That's it, okay? Bringing it back down. Okay. And then we can scoop. So this is an effleurage of the full leg. Bringing it as an effleurage of the full leg into scooping of the ankle. Open it out, give it a bit of shaking, a bit of vibration. Bringing the leg back, opening up the kneecap and pressing the toes over. When you do this, it stretches out the knee. And also coming down the front of the tibia. We can relax, and to stretch the lower back, you want to support the lower back and then press forward with the toes. It's not like this. It's like this. Can somebody move the camera around, please? Sorry. Let's get those stretches in. Okay, so it's not with the ankle.
Check you out, you little flexible thing.
Yeah, she's good, isn't she? Yeah. And again, you want to hold that stretch. Sometimes that can feel really nice.
And that pulls.
Yeah, pulls in at the quads as well. Yeah. If the person has got really big hamstrings and calf muscles, don't push this too much because the muscle tissue is too big. And it will, again, the kneecap can be more difficult. So if they're really big, don't push them into a stretch. Okay? 6 to 8 times effleurage. Again, bringing your towel back. And then you can come in with your hacking, your tapotment. Cupping is a great one for the calf. Again, I don't really use that much beating or pounding on here. So cupping, hacking, jumping over. This midsection here is very powerful for the whole hamstring. So with her, the movement of the cupping is great. Also the hacking. If you really want to break it up, come into the middle part of the hamstring. Deep breath in, Alex. And big sigh out. That's it. And then come back with your hacking again. feathering, moving energy, okay? And then you can rock, okay? Because as this releases, it's going to mobilize the hip area as well. So you can give it a bit of rocking there too. Okay. So bring it down. All right. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
Oh,
Okay.
that was just one leg.
Yeah. So it's, you know these techniques, it's the same techniques as we used yesterday. Be creative, go with your feeling on it, go with the flow. Where is the tension? And I will be watching you, helping you, coaching you. If you get a bit mixed up, just give me a shout and I'll come and help you. Okay. Do you want me to do the other leg before you start? You ready to go? Okay, let's just switch this off. Right, today I want you to swap partner.